This is Generation Next, a youth movement platform geared towards inspiring, motivating, and directing young people's participation towards responsibilities in the developing society. We are working to raise awareness on issues and challenges the youth are faced with in order to effect a positive change. Of course, every fortnight we are here to keep the inspiration, but when we come, of course, we don't come alone. We make sure we bring in young people who are doing remarkably well, young people who, regardless of the challenges, of course, I always say that life comes with its challenges. But it's also imperative that we have not only young people, but we have the elderly as well, because they are able to guide us and to put us through the right path. Therefore, today, my guest, it's a long time pal. I don't want to talk too much, so let's go straight into his bio. He is a renowned producer, songwriter, and musician who specializes in different genres of beat making. He began his career at the age of 15 in Abuja, Nigeria. He got nominated 3 times representing the Gambia in the Africa Gospel Music Award UK in 2012, 2013, and 2014 respectively. His unique sound and style have earned him a loyal following both in Africa and abroad. He pushes the boundaries of what is possible in Africa, in African music, inspiring a new generation of artists to follow in his footsteps. With over a decade of experience in the music industry, he has established himself as a versatile and skilled artist. His unique approach to beat making has earned him recognition from some of the biggest names in business. With his passion for music and dedication to his craft, he is sure to continue making waves, if you like, in the industry for years to come. As the CEO of B Master World Production, he pioneered a hit list of talented artists from Nigeria, the Gambia, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and countless others, and hosted the Swedish African Gospel Concert, promoting African gospel performance in Sweden, where he currently lives. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Bolanle Ekanoye, commonly known as the Master.
What an introduction. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. I'm really, really thrilled that you honored this invitation. Like I said, Generation Next, what we try to do is to inspire the young ones, because in life, challenges are part of the way. And oftentimes, when we stuck in one way or the other, as young people, we think life is mad at us oftentimes. So it's important, like I said, that we bring in people who, regardless of those challenges that come from one way or the other, still pursue.
Yeah.
But also, we don't look at the current being of the person. What we're trying to do is try to discover from how everything began, because I always say that everybody has a story. So in this light, you master, you're doing remarkably well.
Well,
but of course,
thank
you
God
have a
for
story.
everything. Yeah, sure.
Take us through what you can remember from your childhood.
Well, you've said some of the things that you wrote out from the biography. In fact, that bio, I need to upgrade it now.
Okay. You're welcome.
Because there are so many things that has happened in the past, especially from the time that I left Gambia to Sweden. A lot has happened. I've been able to explore into other things. I've been able to explore into different genres, to meet up with top artists as well, to work with them as well. So a lot of things has really happened in the growth period as which from the time that I left Gambia. And that has been into music directing, into sound engineering, into artistry, artist management, and and also I've also been working with children as well, building them up and making sure they are out of drugs. There's a foundation that I work with in Sweden that gave me the opportunity to work with kids to be out of drugs, out of street, because if you check out some of the kids these days, you discover that even young kids are into drugs now. So I was able to create a platform where I came up with the music with different genres of artists that they sang about say no to drugs. And that has really built up my expanding part of production.
Okay.
So it was now taking me away from the artistry part into youth building.
Interesting.
And even the government of Sweden recognized me on that, that, okay, we see what you're doing and this is so amazing. We want you to continue this and we will support you in different ways. So
Okay.
that has brought in a lot of openings in different ways. So a lot has happened in the
Obviously.
past. A lot has happened in the past. And youth are always the people that we look after as leaders of tomorrow.
Right.
And it's an amazing thing to really work with them and also work with kids, because it's something that I also develop passion for.
Okay.
And that has really, really helped me to see.
So now,
Exactly.
now we've got so many youth who are looking up to you, the master.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure by sharing your story as to your humble beginnings, of course, it says by 15 you started.
Yes.
But take us through from your, we would love to do your kindergarten, but I'm sure you can't
Okay.
remember that. But yes, from your junior school,
Yeah.
what kind of student were you? What can you remember back then?
Okay. When from my primary school age, I've been always into music. And music has been part of me even till I got to secondary school.
Okay.
And even when I got to secondary school and also even to the university stage, I was also still in the music. That was when it started growing. Because my dad always wanted us and the family to go to school.
Right.
You know, if you know about Nigerian background, the parents always want us to go to school, especially my tribe, which is the Yoruba part of Nigeria,
Oh, okay.
West Africa,
Right.
west part of Nigeria. We like to go to school. We dominated England
Really?
because we like to go to school.
Okay.
So our parents has always wanted us to make sure that in anything, even if you want to achieve your dreams in life, make sure you go to school. And then when you go to school, you can deviate to go to whatever you want to do.
Right.
And I followed my parents' footstep on that.
Right.
And I went to my university. I finished my university in 2005.
Okay. I was in grade 5 then.
You see?
Okay.
So I finished my university in 2005 and I studied business administration.
Okay.
And before then, my life has always been in the part of music, artists, singing, playing drums. I graduated myself into that aspect of life because I always hang out with friends that are into music. It has always been like that.
Okay.
From my young age up to the stage that I was in the university. So we started a group, singing group, and we started, like going into concerts, inviting us into places to sing. We go for weddings, we perform. So it started growing,
This was what age then?
That time I was around like 19, 20.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because at the time that I started music in the age of 15,
Right.
I had an horrible voice then. So horrible. And I wasn't looking at it that I'm going to grow it to a certain level of my life. But I had this, my friend, that encouraged me more into music.
Okay.
And he's in the United States now. It's called D. Jones.
Okay.
So we started this music thing and he started playing the piano and I was playing drums. So we grew up like that in the church. That was where we grew up to perfect what we do in the music scene.
Right.
And we grew up with that and we started, magnifying everything that has to do with music. So we're moving to singing, we're moving to playing music, we're moving to piano playing, we're moving to talent hunts. And by the time we grow into the major part of music.
Right.
In 1999, I finally make my first beat in 1999. You see, in this life, I want to encourage someone out there. If you start up something, if you're consistent with what you're doing, definitely you will attain to some certain expectation if you don't give up.
Right.
I put it in my mind that I'm going to do this and I'm going to put it up.
Right.
And I concentrated till when it was 1999 and I started making beats. My first studio production beat that I made is with a secular artist. Then
Right.
this guy is a very good rapper. It was raining all over in Abuja then, where I grew up,
Okay.
and that was how we came to the studio. We set up.
And in 1999, you were more than 19 years, was it?
Yeah, I was already like 22 years old
Okay.
then.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
that was when I created the first beat. And from that day,
Right.
I picked up courage. I picked up courage and I began to produce more artists.
Right.
Then in the studio, we have about few producers. But when it comes to rap and hip hop
Right.
production, it's me they send it to. They want me to do any hip hop rap artist. Then I was good in producing hip hop rap artists. I don't know how to produce other style until later. I started, putting myself into high life kind of music, into R&B, into pop music. I started exploring more because I was getting more motivated, I kept on doing it until when I now have a better understanding on how to create music of any kind of genre.
Right.
And that's how I built. I kept on building. I kept on building.
Right.
So that is how it was up to date. It's a long story, but I'm just cutting some parts short
Obviously.
to make sure that viewers can get exactly how the story of how it
Unfold.
started.
Yes.
look
So
like.
so it is important because therefore you are telling us that because your father was into the whole music process and he inspired you greatly
Yes.
into you becoming who you are today.
My mom
Okay.
inspired me more.
How?
But my father, okay, I can tell you the little story of that.
Right.
During the time of my music process time,
Right.
the most time that we spend in playing music together is in the church. So my going to church all the time, my dad is always angry because he wants me to go to school. He wants me to concentrate with my studies.
Right.
I try to make him understand that I can still go to school and then still concentrate on music.
Right.
But he was not happy about that. He wanted me to finish anything that has to do with education
First.
before
Yes.
I go into music.
Right.
So
Right.
I used to sneak out of the house. I sneak out of the house and then I go to church,
Okay.
go and play, and then when it's night, I sneak back. So most often time, it's my mom that covers me up.
Really?
Because I think at that time, my mom liked the circle of friends that I have because the music we do, we play in church.
Okay.
So he was in support of that.
Okay.
But my dad wasn't looking at it that way. He's saying it like music is music, concentrate on school first before you do your music. But at that point, my mom was really helping me. So when I'm going, I'll tell her that, Mom, I want to go to church today. You help me. Then he will say, okay, make sure you come back on time. And then I will go to church, spend time in church, and I'll come back late. And then before I come back, I'll make sure that my dad is already asleep. And then she will sneak me in. And then in the morning, he will ask that, where did I go? And then when I tell him I went to church, he will flog me.
Really?
Oh,
Oh my gosh. So how did you then
So,
right, right.
that happened for some time. Then I was in secondary school.
Okay.
Even along the line, during that time that I was concentrating, sometimes my results had some shaking because I was concentrating more on music.
Music, right.
So there was one of my results that came and it wasn't good at all. I have to be frank here. And he told me, he said, it's either you choose music or you choose your studies. Because what I'm seeing in this result is not looking good. So I listened to him, I concentrated, and I went through the study time very well. And then when it got to the final year
Right.
that I want to write my WAEC results, that's the final year for secondary school,
Was, yeah.
the WAS,
Yeah.
I was able to get 6 credits and 3 Bs.
Really?
Yes.
How did you make that magic?
I concentrated to make sure that I put in my best
Okay.
for my studies more.
Right.
And that was how I overcome that. So immediately when I overcome that, he was still saying, now you have to make sure university, you have to do this, do that, da. He said all kinds of things, still holding me to make sure that I concentrate. So when we started our group, singing group, we started becoming popular. We were famous, like in Abuja. We were the only gospel group that were reigning then, back then, in 1996, 1997, 98, 99, 2000. It was year 2001, we all splitted.
Okay.
Yes, the group splitted. Nothing happened. We still communicate up to today, but you know, you get to a time in someone's life, you have to move.
Right.
And that was how we all splitted. And then this one went to South Africa, this one went to America, and that was how we splitted, you know.
Okay.
And I came to Gambia in 2004.
Right.
So at that point, my dad began to see things differently. He said, we will watch the national TV just like GRTS,
Yeah.
and then see our music video, and then say, is that not my son?
Right.
So he kept on seeing the videos on the TV.
Right.
And it was really, you know, he was now seeing things differently
Right.
to start accepting.
Right.
It took time
Right.
for my dad to accept. My dad is like a disciplinarian. He's a very disciplined person.
Wow.
My
He
dad
believes in education.
Yes, he believes in education. As his workplace is the one that represents the company, is the media communication person.
Right.
So he's the one that speaks on behalf of the institution.
Right.
So
Right.
that's how he believes more in education, because it's very well outspoken.
Right.
So he began to accept. That's when he began to accept the fact that, okay, I think this guy likes music. Let me leave him.
He has no choice
He has
then.
no choice. So when we make the money, hey, Papa, take, bam. Hey, Papa, take, bam. So it was like, okay, this is what you want to do, no problem.
Right.
And then I lost him in 2015,
Oh.
and I lost my mom in 2017. So, and I'm the last born in my family, and all the families are great.
Obviously.
So we're fine.
It's a great manifestation.
Yeah.
You know, but then at this point now, having completed, let's say, your education, right? And also hitting well when it comes to your choosing or your loved, you know, field that you're in right now.
Yeah.
What would you say education has contributed to whom you have become now?
Yes. You see, when I was in university, I was comparing my music status to my studies.
Yeah.
And that has helped me in the area of music management.
Okay.
Yes, it helps me. Like some of us that are into music today, there are so many artists that doesn't understand the music business part of the industry. It's very important as you, as an artist, to understand the music business part as an artist. Don't just be an artist. Know the music business part.
Okay.
As I am right now, I have my songs in different platforms, and that makes money for me. I don't have to be big as Davido or big as anybody. But an artist can be big and don't even have anything
Right.
because you need to understand the business part.
Okay.
The business part of music. That's what a lot of people are lacking. And when I went to Sweden, I was able to understand all those things. That music business it should be one of your first priority. It's just that you're into business and then you don't know how to make income with the business you're doing.
Okay.
Because music is business. It's business. You understand? It's an
Right.
act. It's an act of business. It's a business. It's an entity. B Master World Production is registered. It's an entity. You understand? I'm
Right.
the brand of music of B Master Production. So me being a brand, in my studies, I have been able to understand the part of the music business of the industry. And that helps me. Okay, like next week now on the 17th of June, I'm going to release my new song.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to release a new song. It took me like over 4 weeks to register everything. 4 weeks
As in everything. As in.
to register the song on the platforms that will fetch me back what I've suffered for. You
Okay.
understand?
Right. Right.
That's why a lot of people don't know. They don't understand all those things. If I want to start up a record label, I can if I want to
Right.
because I've already understand the music business part of it.
Right.
There are some kind of artists that I'm going to sign if I want to sign an artist because I understand the music business part of it. You understand?
Right.
So I've known so much through my studies as business administration. I've known so much and I've inculcated it into music business. And that is really working for me. You understand?
Right.
So being a student and as a university graduate, if there is anything you're attaining to become,
Right.
make sure that it's in line in what you want to achieve in life.
Okay.
You have to merge it. You have to merge it. If you don't merge it, then it will look as if you're running around and you don't know exactly what you want. You have to merge it. If you don't merge it, then you're going to be spread out and you don't get anything to be able to have an understanding of what you want to achieve.
Okay.
You got what I mean?
Right.
So I make my statutory of being a graduate out of school
Right.
to later merge it with my my music act. And that is really, really vital as an artist.
Right.
You
Of
know, it's
course.
vital as an artist.
Of course. Well, it's important. And I'm happy that you're sharing that part with us because, of course, well, I'm learning. Yes. So now, coming back to the Gambia per se, and seeing most of our musicians, our producers, our songwriters, if you like, oftentimes you realize that most of them are not. If they were going to school, perhaps they've left school to focus on the music.
Yes.
What would you say to them? Perhaps for those of them that are going to school but are also very much engaged or love the music art, or maybe perhaps those who are not, who have even dropped out but are focusing on this music business.
Yeah.
What redirection would you want to share with them?
Okay. If you're an artist, first of all, you must have to speak to yourself to get that conviction inside of you that do you worth to give value to someone out there? Your music has to speak language. I have decided to become a gospel artist. That is my decision.
Right.
I've decided to be a gospel artist. I must have to give you value. If I don't give you value, then whatever I'm doing, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Now, an artist needs to understand that for people to follow you and to listen to your craft, to follow your materials, you must have to give value to me. That's the first thing you need to understand. Don't write music just because you know how to write song.
Okay.
Write music to make it connect to your own life story. You will be able to speak it well. That's how to do. That's how to understand the genre where you're supposed to be. There are some artists that are doing dancehall today, which they are supposed to be R&B artists. There are some artists that are doing R&B today. They are supposed to be Afrobeat artists. And so many of them don't understand the area at which they should place themselves because they want to be everywhere. No, you don't have to be everywhere. You must understand your station. You have to understand your station. You need to understand exactly what you want to give to people, to the public. Because you need to understand that when they play your song on the radio, it's different kinds of people that are listening to that song. There's a lawyer somewhere listening to the song. There's a doctor somewhere listening to the song. There's a teacher listening to the song.
Right.
All kinds of people are listening to that song. What value can you give to those people to accept the song? When you, as a musician, have not yet accepted the song, if the song doesn't touch you, how do you want it to touch someone else?
Right.
It has to touch you first. That's why it's good for you to write a song that is attached to your life, to your story. It has to attach to you because you know how to write it very well. You will know how to present it properly. There are so many stories you've been through in life. You can take one part of it, turn it to a song, and make it a life story. It can change someone's life. You need to place value to whatever you're giving out to someone out there. That's how to impact and make people follow you as an artist.
Right.
And also, if you're an artist, you need to understand the music business part of it as well. You need to understand it because you can't be doing something or making a business and you're not making income out of it. If you know that you cannot make income out of it, stop and do something else. You have to find your niche. You have to find your niche. You need to know exactly what is your killing point, your point in life. You need to understand your life. You need to know your point in life. That is where you grow with. Just as you are now, you're running this show. You know you're good at it. You're thinking now in the next 5 years, where am I going to be? You should speak to yourself on that. Where am I going to be in the next 5 years? Am I still going to remain on this level? No. You need to grow. So you need to think about how you're going to put yourself together. What is going to make me grow? I want to be like Oprah. I want to start a show to be like Oprah. What do I need to put in place for now to make me grow to that level?
Right.
You start working on that. It's step by step by step.
Okay.
That's how to think about where you should place yourself in life.
Thank you so much, dear Master. Now, I'm prompt to ask you at this point. Of course, you're now in Sweden. Beautiful. But what do you have in store for the Gambian youth, particularly those that look up to you?
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Just last month,
Right.
we were able to do a concert for 10 artists here in Gambia.
Okay.
I did a beat and it's a lineup of 10 artists. They all sang on it. And then they organized a concert, which I sponsored myself.
Wow.
It was a very, very big concert. And we've done this before. And then since I traveled, we've not been able to do it again.
Right.
So now we did it again.
Okay.
So I was able to bring out some upcoming youth talent. I have passion for youth.
Obviously.
I do.
Obviously.
So that is how we were able to get 10 artists, and then they went into the studio, they recorded, they did everything, and then they sent it back to me. I did all the mastering and then send it back. You know, Amanda, that's my my sister-in-law.
Okay. Okay.
She started promoting it on Mercy and Grace show that I was doing here in Afro Radio. Because when I left, she continued.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then she continued doing the show. And that was how we were able to get these 10 artists on board and then release the song and then organize the concert, and then they all performed. So that concert in the gospel entertainment scene was able to make impact to grow some of the things that are hidden in the gospel scene in Gambia. Because a lot of gospel artists, a lot of gospel Christian churches heard about it, and the place was packed full.
Awesome.
So unfortunately, I wasn't able to meet up the concert, but I pioneered the whole thing, both financially and then making sure that they are all encouraged. So this is what I want to be doing every year. Next year, we're going to get a new set of artists as well.
Right.
Produce them, give them that courage to be able to understand that they can do it.
Right.
And that's what we've been doing for now in the Gambia. So more things is going to come up. We're going to do talent shows.
Right.
We're going to try to get more sponsors on board to be able to help us. And then with the help of AfriCell too, they were able to help as well to make sure that the concert was successful. And I thank them for that. So we're doing some things here in Gambia.
Of course, obviously. It's clear. So on a final note, of course, we want more advices coming as well. What else do you want to tell the young people, myself included? And
okay. Now, what I'm going to say is, dreams doesn't start small. It doesn't start small. Dreams doesn't start small. When you start today, when you're consistent, don't stop. Don't stop. You see this palm, this hand, this palm of everyone is not the same. It's never the same. There is something that God has placed in these hands that somebody doesn't have. Only you have it. Only you have it. And for the fact that that thing is in your hands, it's left for you to take a step to achieve whatsoever is in your hands. Nobody should say that you don't have anything. No. There is something in your hands that you have that you can deliver to your society, to Africa, to the world. There's something that you have. And I want you to understand that when your dreams start, you always need the grace of God to be able to go alongside with it. Because you can't do it alone. You can't. You can't do it alone. So your consistency into what you started and what you can do will pave a way for you for the future. And that's how it's supposed to be as a young youth.
Thank you so much. I almost lost that we're doing this, because I'm like so in depth into what you're saying, and that's really beautiful. Of course, I've heard it, and I'm sure the other young people who are currently watching have heard it as well. And we shall, of course, endeavor to keep that in mind. But also, it's important that we acknowledge God in whatever we do. Of course, that's you, Master. As we've all heard it. Thank you so much. We are happy that you've been able to honor this.
Yes.
Thank you once again. And thank you, of course, our beautiful audience for always following us on this platform. We've all had what we must have had to say, and I hope we can all adhere to that as young people to be better and better. That's all time has, all the time we have, of course, until we come your way again from the entire Generation Next team. And of course, always from my beautiful cameraman. It's a bye from B Master and myself.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So
thank
cheers.
you so much
You're
for
welcome.
having me.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate.
You're welcome.
Anytime, I'm always open.
Good.